The Indus Water Treaty, 1960. A detailed overview. The Indus Water Treaty, IWT, is one of the most significant water-sharing agreements between India and Pakistan, signed on 19 September 1960, with the mediation of the World Bank. It governs the distribution of water from the Indus River system between the two countries, and despite decades of tension, it has generally been adhered to, although there have been moments of discord. One precursor to the Indus Water Treaty. The Indus River system consists of 6 major rivers: the Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas, and Sutlej. This river system is one of the most important in South Asia, providing water for agriculture, drinking, and industrial use, especially in Pakistan. Before partition in 1947, the river system was used by undivided India. However, after partition, the sharing of water from the Indus system became a major issue between India and Pakistan, both newly formed nations with competing needs. Partition of India, 1947, created the need for an agreement, as the majority of the river system's water flowed into Pakistan's territories after the division of British India. The Ravi, Beas, and Sutlej rivers, which flow primarily through India, were critical to Pakistan's water needs, while the Indus, Jhelum, and Chenab rivers, which flowed mostly through Pakistan, were crucial to India. 2. When was it signed and the signatories? The Indus Water Treaty was signed in 1960 between India and Pakistan. The treaty was the result of efforts to resolve disputes over water sharing between the two countries following their partition in 1947. The World Bank played a key role in mediating the agreement, especially because of the increasing significance of water to both countries' agriculture and livelihoods. The treaty was signed by the following signatories: Jawaharlal Nehru, Prime Minister of India; Ayub Khan, President of Pakistan; W.A.B. Iliffe, Vice President of the World Bank, mediator. 3. Was the Indus Water Treaty part of a greater agreement? Although the Indus Water Treaty is a standalone agreement, it was part of broader efforts to stabilize relations between India and Pakistan post-partition. The treaty addressed one of the most contentious issues between the two nations: access to water resources. The treaty was also seen as a way to prevent further conflict over water disputes. The treaty was signed 3 years after the 1958 visit of Pakistan's President Ayub Khan to the World Bank to seek mediation. It was a crucial part of the World Bank's role in stabilizing Indo-Pakistani relations in the early post-independence period. 4. Key terms and conditions of the Indus Water Treaty. The Indus Water Treaty divides the waters of the Indus River system into 3 parts. Eastern rivers, Ravi, Beas, Sutlej, these were allocated to India for exclusive use. Western rivers, Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, these were allocated to Pakistan for exclusive use. Key terms of the treaty included: India's rights on eastern rivers. India has the right to fully utilize the Ravi, Beas, and Sutlej rivers for irrigation and other purposes. Pakistan's rights on western rivers. Pakistan is given the rights to use the Indus, Jhelum, and Chenab rivers for all its needs, irrigation, drinking, etc., with India allowed to use them only for limited purposes like hydropower generation. Water Flow Agreement. India was granted the right to construct dams and other projects on the eastern rivers, while on the western rivers, India could build only limited storage and diversion works. The treaty provides specific guidelines on the amount of water India can store or divert on the western rivers. 5. Dispute Resolution Mechanism. The treaty also includes a mechanism for resolving disputes, which involves setting up a permanent Indus Commission comprising representatives from both countries. The Commission meets annually to discuss any issues related to the management of water flows, water sharing concerns, or infrastructure development. In case of a disagreement, the treaty provides a provision for appointing an independent neutral expert or a court of arbitration to resolve the dispute. The World Bank initially played a major role in mediating disputes, but it largely withdrew from active mediation in the 1980s. 6. Impact of annulment of the treaty on Pakistan. If the Indus Water Treaty were annulled, the consequences for Pakistan would be severe. Loss of access to vital water sources. Pakistan heavily depends on the western rivers, Indus, Jhelum, and Chenab. Without access to these rivers, Pakistan's entire irrigation system would collapse, and its agriculture, which is the backbone of its economy, would be devastated. Pakistan's Punjab province would be particularly impacted, as it receives water primarily from these rivers. Environmental catastrophe. The annulment of the treaty would lead to a humanitarian crisis. Agriculture would be crippled, and millions of people would face water shortages. the Mangla Dam on the Jhelum and the Tarbela Dam on the Indus could be severely impacted, affecting not just agriculture but also power generation in Pakistan. Economic collapse. Agriculture is Pakistan's second largest economic sector, and the loss of water would lead to catastrophic crop failures. This could reduce Pakistan's GDP by a significant margin. Social and political strife. Given the political and social importance of water, its loss could trigger mass unrest and even exacerbate existing tensions between India and Pakistan. The regions of Punjab and Sindh in Pakistan would be the hardest hit. 7 locations impacted by water flowing from the Indus Water Treaty. In Pakistan, the following cities, districts, and villages would be directly impacted by the water flow from the rivers covered in the Indus Water Treaty. Punjab, the province that relies the most on the water from the Indus, Chenab, Jhelum, and Ravi rivers. Major cities like Lahore, Faisalabad, Multan, and Rawalpindi are highly dependent on these waters. Sindh, cities like Karachi, Hyderabad, and Sukkur also depend on the waters of the Indus for drinking and irrigation. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, cities like Peshawar and the district of Mardan are also reliant on water resources from the Indus River. 8 historical pauses or violations of the treaty. Over the years, there have been a few instances when the Indus Water Treaty faced challenges. 1965 War. During the India-Pakistan War, both countries were engaged in heavy military activity near the river basins, but the treaty was not violated, despite tensions. The water flow continued under the treaty's terms. 1978 to 1984. During this period, India faced accusations of non-compliance with certain clauses of the treaty, especially regarding the construction of hydroelectric projects on the western rivers. 1990s, Pakistan expressed concerns over India's construction of Baglihar Dam on the Chenab River, and the dispute was taken to the World Bank. In 2007, an independent neutral expert ruled in favor of India on this matter. 2019 Pulwama attack. After the 2019 terrorist attack in Pulwama, India withdrew from a proposed meeting of the Indus Commission, but the treaty was not formally annulled, and the water sharing continued despite tensions. Conclusion. The Indus Water Treaty remains one of the most successful international agreements in the South Asian region, having survived multiple periods of tension between India and Pakistan. Although there have been occasional pauses and disputes, the agreement itself has held firm due to its well-structured dispute resolution mechanisms and the vital importance of water resources for both nations. However, any attempt to annul or significantly alter the treaty would likely lead to serious consequences for Pakistan, affecting its agriculture, economy, and social stability.
Saraswati Kaveri Jeevana Karana Mula Tattva